No, yeah, Irish people are amazing at fights. Just don't touch their legs or they'll immediately fall over.
What are you talking about? Those are the strongest parts from all the dancing.
No, how come no Irish person has ever even come close to qualifying for the Olympics at wrestling? They're
What
shit.
about Conor McGregor?
Yeah, he kicks people all the time.
Yeah, he got fucking brutally demolished by a Dagestani who knew how to wrestle.
What about Inya?
Enya has a sick double leg, actually. Enya actually went. Yeah, Enya in that castle, she's got some fucking like rune strength, and she went to a draw with Jordan Burroughs. It was actually sick. I don't know how like a 45-year-old Irish woman wrestled like a college junior in America, but she did.
As long as you do it
sick.
inside a fairy ring, you get the power. I really feel like people have been gaslighting me recently by insisting that they like Enya.
Enya's sick.
Dude, I like him. It slaps.
Consider yourself gaslit.
Yeah,
in your
you're-
rules.
Ocarina flow.
Oh my God.
Bang.
What music
Such a
do you
bang.
like,
You
Matt?
people are
Enya
just
slaps.
You people just exist to fucking torment me and lie in order to upset me.
You have to tell us what music you like.
It's fine. I just all
You
those
don't
pure
listen to
moods,
music.
all those pure moods from the early '90s.
You got here's the playlist. You got some Enya on
Awful.
there. You've got the Vangelis theme from Chariots of Fire and 1492 Conquest of Paradise going dummy hard, getting you in that mood. That's what.
That mood to kill yourself?
No, the mood to open up the Marianne mindset to see the orbs.
Ah,
Yeah.
shit. God, if I have to listen to Enya to see the orbs, then I guess I'm not seeing the orbs. It's not happening.
You're just afraid of your third eye.
I might be.
But okay, what music do you like though? I've always wondered this.
Like Camptown Races. That slaps.
Stephen Foster.
Stephen Foster rips.
Problematic though.
Matt,
He's a problematic fave.
yeah, Matt is literally the Andrew tweet where he's telling a girl like, "Yeah, I've been getting into older stuff like Frere Jacques."
So, fellas, let's real talk now. Day 5 of the sex strike. I am committed to this. I have not crossed the picket line. I'm holding strong. I hope all of you guys are.
My balls are the size of regulation medicine balls.
Okay, on the sex strike, we've committed to it, but here's the problem. The modern day Pinkerton agency that is Snapchat, in the middle of the sex strike, they broke out the filter that makes your homie look like a beautiful lady. And they're really pushing me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to scab. It's getting real hard out here looking at
There's some times.
looking at all your favorite Twitter homies is just like it's like when Bugs Bunny dressed up as a lady.
Yeah.
I entered stage today with a engorged, overlarge phallus dragging on the boards of the stage like an Aristophanes character from Lysistrata, and a mask that was like comically horny.
Well,
But being a gay, I was like, bring it on, sex strikes, automatic scab.
But if anyone is getting too sprung off their hot homies, just if you want to cool off, look at a picture of me, gender swap, because I look like grown up Honey Boo Boo. I've done it several times with different apps. I never look good. I always look terrible. I just look awful. I look like Meghan McCain if she wasn't rich.
Mine looks like a sexy Gazano.
Yes,
like her.
no. Felix has some of the best gender swap pictures.
Well, I would have been such a hot woman. My pussy would have fucking stank, but I would have been a hot woman.
Because literally, of how hot you were?
Yeah, my pussy would have been like in a cartoon when a poor person opens his wallet. That's what my pussy would have been like as a woman.
A fly comes out.
like a little fly. Yeah. Just open up, just popping my pussy.
No, just basic hygiene and his inability or unwillingness to carry it out.
No, I have like good hygiene as a man, but it's like there's a lot of shit you have to do with a vagina.
From what I understand, yes.
My pussy would be like when in the cartoon, the smell of a pie physically lifts you up off the ground and pulls you, Donald Duck, usually by the nose towards the windowsill.
I think if I was a woman, I would be one of the women from the Barstool podcast where they're like, we like to get drunk, like the one the guy posted the clips of.
You'd be like a bourbon bitch.
Yeah, I would be a bourbon bitch, and
Cool GF.
and I'd get like tons of horny replies. But then the rumor mill would start that you got flies in my cooter, and that would be my undoing. I mean, as a man, if flies come out of your urethra of your dick, like it's just like rugged. It's like Brad Pitt rolling out of bed.
Bob Dole
Rolling out of
suffered from that.
Yeah. Yeah, I got bed bugs in my pubes. I take life chill. I don't take myself too seriously. I'm not one of those metrosexuals who doesn't have lice in his taint.
Well, I want to talk about the sex strike, but we're helping you out on the sex strike by Felix talking about his bed bug ridden genitals. Felix has been taking the sex strike really hard, but unfortunately it's landed in the part of the year in his like hibernation cycle. He's not in Ponfar yet, so he's holding strong. Probably, I feel like the most out of all of us.
I feel like this is my breeding practices are like criticized a lot. Let me explain something to you. If you buy more than 4 gaming mouses in like a 2-month period, you can't have sex with anyone. You can't even fucking come close.
Why? Because the experience that you're having with the gaming mouses or makes sex.
No, people could smell it on you.
Oh.
They're like, oh, this guy has gone through 4 different Logitech gaming mouses and has compared the weight of it when he tries to hit an arm aim flick.
If only there was aim trainer for the human heart.
Wish there was aim trainer for sex. I'm always missing that thing. I am landing in the belly button all the time. It is embarrassing. Chat is going crazy. They're calling me a bot at sex. It sucks.
You need like tracer bullets.
Dude, I'm going back to fucking on console. At least I had aim assist. Fuck. I'm always just hitting, like the sort of armpit of the knee. I don't even know how I got down there.
So Alyssa Milano's sex strike continues. We will update you as it goes. Again, please stay strong. Don't scab. Don't strike break.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a beautiful lady or one of my Twitter homies who's also a beautiful lady with the aid of Snapchat.
Gotta say, Virgil's is like pretty hot, actually.
Virgil's is hot.
Looks like a fake gamer girl, though.
Oh, totally.
He's got bangs.
She would have so many Twitch followers.
Yeah, Virgil is like, I would give him like $100 dono and be like, you don't have a husband, right? He's just walking by out of frame.
Yeah, Lady Virgil would stream like Duck Hunt or something to 500,000 horny losers.
The Lady Virgil. Her honor has been besmirched.
Girl Branson is like, that's just a catastrophe.
The app won't even erase his beard. That's how powerfully masculine he is.
Well, let's kick off the show after the sex strike update. Very pleased to say that we've got James Adomian, but sitting in for the first time in a while. This is the first time we've seen you in the flesh, sir. Usually, you're coming to us via a phone line.
On tour in my steampunk dirigible around North America. North America is what you say to sound cool. Like you also go to, but it means you just go to Toronto.
So James is you're in the city for a little bit, and you're kind enough to drop by the Trap. Great to see you again.
What day
sir.
is this? I'm curious.
It's Mother's Day.
Oh, we're on. This is Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day. Yeah.
I didn't know if you bent time.
Well, we'll try.
Backtimers. That's some science fiction movie. Backtimers. They're the creatures that move backwards through our timeline.
The Langoliers. Yeah.
They just go through history just spoiling movies for everyone. You get a phone call in like 2012 and it's like Iron Man dies.
The movie Backtimers spoils itself.
No bullshit though, Matt. You showed me this. Dude, we saw there was some huge comment on our Reddit complaining about spoiling Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, they said it was fascist to spoil Endgame.
They said it was like doing this, just putting spoilers out there, like you're just reveling, you're doing it to be cruel.
For its own sake.
It's cruelty for its own sake.
You might as well be an ICE agent rounding up undocumented people.
And they said that yes, movie spoilers are fash, and it's easy to scoff at that, but you may not know that. In the 1930s, one of the things that the brown shirts did was go around telling people how M ended.
No, I mean, I can't think of any worse thing you can do to a person than tell them, Thanos, eat somebody into the optimatum gauntlet or whatever. That would fucking suck. I'd probably kill myself.
All right, so Spoilers are fash, but here's no spoiler.
Optimus Prime dies.
Did you see the thing where Donald Trump just scored an excellent dunk on Pete Buttigieg by comparing him to classic Mad Magazine figurehead Alfred E. Newman? And then Buttigieg responded by being like, I guess that's a generational thing. I had to Google that. And I got to say, Buttigieg is not that much older than I got a subscription to Mad Magazine when I was a kid.
Everybody knows Mad Magazine. Shut the fuck up, you fucking nerd.
That was not a snappy answer to a stupid question.
I can't wait for the general between those two. It's going to be explosive. It's going to be so, oh my God, they're just going to be going off on each other.
It's going to look like Spy versus Spy.
Yeah. Donald Trump is going to be like, Mayor Pete should be in hee-haw. And Mayor Pete will just be like, the only thing I'm hee-hawing at is your disregard for the Constitution. Just going off on each other. Fucking awesome. I can't wait.
Why isn't it here during this trying time?
We really could use hee-haw.
Yeah, hee-haw was the first Mad TV.
That's true.
Like, kind of.
I know who Alfred E. Newman is, obviously. Even though I did not have a subscription to Mad, I had a subscription to Crack. Because I was more of an alt scenester. I was always more of a Sylvester P. Smitha guy than an Alfred E. Newman guy.
I love the idea of the guy who's like, yeah, I'm really into punk zines, Mad, Cracked.
I don't know. There was just something, I think Cracked, I don't know. It just Mad felt a little too establishment for me when I was a kid. I wanted, and it's like Cracked, it's like it felt more punk.
Cracked would make fun of Ren and Stimpy. They would go there.
Exactly, yeah.
People were laughing about how Buttigieg didn't know who Alfred E. Newman was. I also think it's funny that Donald Trump had that in his Rolodex.
Well, yeah, that's true, because that would require reading, which I know he
that
does
means he's
not.
been paying attention to comedy magazines?
Well, no. He obviously doesn't read magazine, but we know Trump has always been very in tune with the media. He has a lot of PR people working from overtime. Like he'd have PR people contact Page Six and be like, "This just in: our wags say that Donald Trump's penis is large and he's very good at sex." And then
he must have made some angry calls to Mad Magazine.
Yeah, no, he had his PR people like contacting Mad Magazine to just be like, "Your parody of Donald E. Blumpkin. you must retract or you will face it."
That's true, because there are records of them making fun of him back in the 90s and 80s and stuff. So I'm sure that he was very aware. He like circled it with his big magic marker. It's unfair.
The white spy is a loser. He's a dirty cop. The white spy is friends with Bruce Orr.
Everybody knows the white spy. He's terribly in debt. The failing Mad Magazine.
I mean, the one thing that no one has ever talked about is that, and I wish someone would ask him, is that he 1,000,000% thinks that Alfred E. Newman is a real person. Like that he is the publisher of Mad Magazine. He's like the Graydon Carter of Mad Magazine.
Alfred E. Newman hugging and kissing outside Waverly Inn.
Alfred E. Newman's Oscar party, not hot anymore. Pack it in.
I've heard that Alfred E. Newman's cream pie restaurant not longer funny.
Notorious enfant terrible.
I've talked to
Alfred E. Newman got into it with Christopher Hitchens.
I've talked to some of the people who are asking some of the supposedly stupid questions. Those are completely fabricated. They're false. They made them up to make themselves look good. Alfred's a really nasty, insecure guy who has to make up conversations to make himself look good because no one wants to come to his awful party, the Stupid Bowl. It's called the Super Bowl, Alfred. Learn how to spell.
His adult teeth haven't come in. He's older than I am, and his teeth haven't come in.
I think I'm about a month away from retweeting all the Graydon Carter tweets again. Those are the best tweets ever written. They're so good.
I did like though, like the Buttigieg brigade did have some choice reactions to Donald Trump calling him Alfred E. Newman, and they were like, some people read Mad Magazine as a kid, others learned 6 languages and read Finnegan's Wake, and it's like once again, like has anyone learned how to get over on Trump? No, obviously not.
So Buttigieg.
Yeah.
What if Trump was like that? Finnegan's Wake was the only book he ever read, but he was just like the world's greatest expert at it. He just
out of nowhere.
Yeah, just he's just like the only guy who knows it.
Yeah, James. What do you make of the Buttigieg madness? Is he going anywhere?
He's got some pull in the gays. He's got some pull in the gay scene.
In the
if
GC.
If you want to get laid in today's America, you better have a neutral to positive position on Pete Buttigieg.
I mean, there's an incentive. People want to see him be the third gay president,
James Buchanan.
and probably Lincoln, but definitely Buchanan.
Back to back?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Something happened in the mid-1800s.
Matt, I'm sorry, fourth gay president? I think you're forgetting
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama.
Of course.
I actually don't believe we've ever had a straight president. That's my conspiracy.
So, like, on Grindr, you have to have, like, Buttigieg neutral. Buttigieg neutral to chaotic good.
That actually, yeah. In addition to top bottom versatile, the next thing is going to be where do you stand on Buttigieg?
Versatile.
Yeah,
I'm a Buttigieg switch.
I'm a Buttigieg bottom boy. Yeah, great. Buttigieg, fantastic. I mean, I'm like technically happy that you can be a gay or for president, but I had like a. You know, you have like a hypothetical that you're ready for, an argument that you never use in your head. I had one for years that was like, well, if a gay ran for president, I wouldn't automatically support him because he was gay. And now it's happening.
You've proven yourself right.
I never had to use it because that argument never happened. But then now this is happening, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not supporting this gay just because he's gay. It's thanks for bringing it there. I'm glad that the backtimers have engineered this out.
The other thing that happened this week, we didn't get a chance to talk about, was Ben Shapiro destroyed by BBC.
Why don't you just say that you're on the left? Is this so hard for you? Why can't you just be honest?
Mr.
Seriously,
Shapiro,
it's a serious question.
Mr. Shapiro, if you only knew how ridiculous that statement is, you wouldn't have said it. I just
Really?
asked you a question.
Yeah, he got his back walls blown out there.
Who is that?
Ben Shapiro?
No, I know Ben Shapiro. Who's that one BBC guy?
His name is Andrew Neil.
Well, that's the thing,
He's
is
a
he's a-
3,000-year-old Tory.
Yeah.
He's the turtle from Neverending
Yes.
Story that's like, you can't get there. It's over 10,000 miles away.
No, he's like, he's like one of these, British TV interviewing fossils that, he destroyed Ben Shapiro just basically by asking him questions. But the thing is, everyone assumed that it was like Ben Shapiro pawned by reality, but like Andrew Neil is like thinks that being gay is a disease and that like global warming is made up along with vaccines. Like he's just like a weird ancient Tory lunatic.
Which just goes to show how much of a precious little boy Ben is.
Well, the thing is, like, it's just the conventions of like British TV news interviews are completely different than American, which is like in America they always want to get you book backed and they never ask a follow-up question. Where it was like in the BBC, like they take pride in making you uncomfortable or just sticking the knife in.
I've got nothing but time to open up this textually printed copy of your Twitter posts.
Yeah, the best thing is like Andrew Neil, like in the UK, is just like psychotic far right lunatic. But like people who watch it with no context were like, oh, this epic liberal just pwned Ben Shapiro.
Well, but the way
it's like, no, America's just an exceptionally right wing country.
But that's the thing. That's Ben started that because when he started getting pushback, his only move was, you're actually a liberal, and this is actually a biased interview. Because that is the strategy, is that you prevent getting any kind of critical pushback in an interview by working the refs, by establishing a thing where you say any kind of hostility is proof of your bias. And since every American journalist is terrified of being called biased in any way, that keeps them from doing anything that'll make it hard for him to respond.
What's so funny about that is that like this Ben Shapiro is like Mr. Too Damn Debate, and like isn't the entire like convention of a debate is that your opponent is biased against your point of view?
Yes,
or that will argue against
but
it.
He only wants to debate, as we've discussed many times, weeping college students. Those are the only people who wants to debate. No one else who has ever offered to debate him has ever been taken up on it, other than like dog and pony shows at like Politicon, where it's like just a bunch of media hacks. Otherwise, it's like if you don't have purple hair and you're not already crying when you're talking to him, he doesn't want to debate you.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro will get thrown off if somebody isn't actively shivering around him.
The way to defeat Ben Shapiro is to slow down his voice track to normal one-time speed. He's usually played at 1.5x, and if you just dial him down,
If you chop
half a click,
if you chop and screw Shapiro, it's his points become instantly assailable.
It's like he's like the chipmunks. If you slow it down, you can slow it down and hear how they accomplished Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, no, he should cut a Christmas album too. Alvin, Simon, Shapiro.
Actually, your argument is false.
It's absolutely insane that a chipmunk wouldn't wear pants or a coat, but he's going to wear a turtleneck. Unusually bulky. You're going to tell me he's going to wear it to bed? Like, he's going to wear it to bed like a nightshirt. Okay, well, that's an entire separate article of clothing that could stand alone. Yet, he doesn't even have underwear on. He can't even wear basketball shorts. Are you going to tell me because his legs are short? There are plenty of people with short legs who wear pants.
We can hardly stand the wait. Please, Christmas, don't be late.
The other funny thing that came out of that was, as you do, you make fun of Ben Shapiro's stupid squeaky voice and his height. But like the backlash to the backlash are people saying that like, please let's make fun of Ben Shapiro, but could you do it based on something other than his height, stupid voice, or general physical appearance? And it's just like, if you can't make fun of someone based on how they look and sound, then what really can you do?
What are we doing here,
people?
Let's just pack it in.
And it's like, being short. It's not like, it's not like he was born with dwarfism or something. Being that's not a disability or anything. It's just
he's just a wee guy.
Yeah,
he's a little guy. I mean, the shortness wouldn't really matter if he didn't have just such a hall monitor energy.
Well, he has short guy energy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There are short guys that pull it off,
Yeah.
Like Tom Cruise.
Exactly. He's a fucking 5-star pimp.
That's the energy of an intergalactic dictator.
Yeah, he's got big Xenu energy.
I mean, as a, look, I think, I obviously can't speak for everyone, but, I'm only 6'1". Obviously people under 6'3" should be murdered.
Wow.
I agree. Like kind of subhuman.
Latter-day Napoleon.
Yeah. I'm significantly below average height myself, 6'1". I think it's okay.
I mean, I'm just like a hair under 6 feet and 26 years old as well.
And yeah, as all of us as men below, average height for a man is 6'4". And if you're below that, it's probably okay if someone kills you by accident. Not on purpose, but by accident. And we say it's okay, so there you go.
You please make fun of Ben Shapiro all you want, but can you please do it in dry academic language in a peer-reviewed journal that's properly vetted by academic sources?
No, I mean the only good way to make fun of somebody is like a compound swear that would have like just been even unfunny on like fucking Reddit or GameFAQs in 2005, but sort of make it woke so you're not making fun of anyone's appearance or anything else.
Fuck button.
Yeah, call him a fuck button. That will own him. Everyone loves that.
Are so cool.
Oh my god, they're fucking sick. It's like, wait, all right, he's gonna call him a fuck. Oh wait, no, there's a waffle in there. Where is this guy going? Whoa! Oh my god. I'm glad I brought my seatbelts to this riff. Fuck. Shit, cut that.
Whoa,
not Chris.
You brought a
seatbelt to a riff fight.
You should bring a seatbelt to a rift if you're going to fall into it or something.
What the fuck did he say to me, you little shit?
You go throrough the rift, and then that's when you encounter Enya.
Yeah,
that's what lays beyond. Speaking of another b-boy who's in the news, let's talk about Joe Biden again, because I gotta say we've been talking about him for a while now. He's in the race, and it's hard to know what to make of this because you're looking at the polls now, and it looks like Biden is just romping.
He's killing it.
Like he's just
Joe
like
Biden.
He's up by like 45-15 against Bernie in South Carolina. He's up by like 15 or 20 in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And it's, what are we to make of this? Because, on the one level, it's a long way to go before any votes are cast. You could point to like similar, Matt, you were saying like Jeb.
Yeah, Jeb was leading at this point.
Was leading
in
in
2016.
similar, like big lead. But at the same time, it's very easy for me to imagine just Joe Biden just sailing to the Democratic nominee.
When you look at the Democratic primary voter base of people who are just always, if they have an incumbent Republican in a 5-alarm terror and are like, oh my God, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? And all they think is, well, it's not what I want. It's what does the dumbest person I know want? And then they figure, well, probably Joe Biden.
If you don't read the news, you're about 50. I'm the guy that you'll fall in line for second place.
I From the get-go, even before he announced it, I think he's going to win the nomination. But to be fair here, like the polls that they're doing are fucked up. Like they're literally just people who are like registered Democrats who are on their deathbed. Like the last thing they ever hear is like a Rasmussen guy being like, "Who are you going to vote for?" So, like, I mean, one of them, they like literally didn't ask someone what was the age, like below, like
Yeah, there was no one under 50.
yeah,
Landline calls.
Two
yeah.
different polls had no one under 50.
yeah. I,
Okay.
mean, I still think
Because that's not a real poll.
We got to uncuck these polls again, and like,
yeah.
got to uncuck the polls. Don't want to psych you out. Like Bernie's still got a good shot at it, but again, Biden is probably he's gonna have to be dealt with at some point, and do not take that any.
All right, you guys, you heard it here first. Will is gonna fuck Joe Biden.
I'll do it. I'll Hunter Kelly his ass.
Well, look, I tell you, Will, if you have that feminine face swap thing on, I might just come up behind you and give you a good sniff and say,
Whisper in my ear.
you interested in donating $150,000? Totally legal. I tell you what, if then you come into my office and say, Joe, I need a favor from you. It's human nature. I'm going to go for your shoulders. I'm going to whisper something right in your ear.
I've sort of keep the show fresh in the coming months. I've decided that I will be supporting Joe Biden.
That's good, yeah.
I have several contrarian takes in support of him. Do you guys want to hear them?
Yeah, but what's the contrarian corner pro Joe Biden?
All right, so the touching stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's indigenous Irish healing practices. That's literally like he's a fucking Irish TO. That's how Irish
if you've
people
got an
heal
eye
each other.
infection, I can come up and lick it with my eye. I can give
Exactly.
you an eye lick. Like I'm licking an ice cream. It's got a pupil.
Oh,
Soft serve.
yeah, and it's like, oh, you're supporting like fucking, Tulsi or like Mike Gravel or Bernie because you want like a less interventionist foreign policy. Joe Biden's like scumbag son is literally doing millions of dollars of deals with China, so we will never confront them. And so it's actually the most anti-interventionist candidate.
Whoa.
He's the most dovish candidate.
Also-
Because if his
also
son
you-
keeps doing deals,
Yeah.
Contrarian corner's winning me over on this.
yeah.
No.
We just need Hunter to diversify. He needs to get a company in Iran,
Yeah,
Mm.
fucking exactly. This is
Venezuela. We need to have him have vested
He needs
interest.
to have a diversified portfolio
Yes.
in countries that are currently on the State Department hit list.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
What's
Joe.
his name? Hunter?
Hunter Biden.
Yeah,
That sounds like a scary lawyer.
yeah, because he's a deal hunter.
The greatest deal he made was swooping on his dead brother's widow.
That was, and he left his own wife for her. He
did.
He's such a pimp.
Wait. He was already married?
Yeah, he's a god.
He divorced his wife to marry his brother's widow?
Yeah.
Does he take the Bible that
I don't know
seriously?
if they're married.
They were
but
dating
I think they're
or
in a
something?
relationship, and I think they broke up now. But a lot of people speculate it's just to keep it out of the spotlight that he's with his brother's widow, like it's the fucking Middle Ages.
Oh, yeah, everyone likes the best prestige TV show of all time, The Borgias. Well, now it's real. Now it's real. The fictional characters of the Borgias are now real, and they're the Bidens.
Well, as soon as I get in the White House, I'll be posing for a giant painting every 2 weeks, wearing a floppy Italian hat, a couple of shoulder robes. I don't know what you get, shoulder robes, just to let you know I'm coming for those shoulders. I'm coming on those shoulders.
But we were talking about Biden's perceived popularity, whether it's not as strong as it would the cucked polls would make it appear. You sort of get into this commentary that's like not entirely wrong, that states that Twitter, either on like the liberal side or like the left socialist side, is basically kind of like an argument among a very small group of like politically engaged elites.
Yeah.
And that the actual Democratic voters don't know or care about any of this shit, and they love Joe Biden or whatever, which I'm sure is true to a certain extent, but people, the next step that people take is actually people don't really want a more left wing turn in the Democratic Party, or they're really. I said on our last show there is no such thing as the center in American politics, and the thing is it's true, they do like Biden, and they're not all the things that you and I would regard as huge red flags or would torpedo him because of all of his noxious political beliefs. The thing is, if Joe Biden were running on Bernie Sanders' agenda, he would be he'd be exactly as popular with the Democratic base and voters. Like the policies kind of.
Well, yeah,
matter.
that's the twist. That's the double side of that argument that they don't actually want, that they're not that engaged with this stuff. It also means that they don't have some sort of inherent bias against it. They like a guy who reminds them of the Obama years, and they want to go back to that. And it's like, hey, he's the Obama. And the other big thing is, like I was saying, the fucking electability deal, which is, of course, just amazing that people still talk about with Donald fucking Trump being president. But the last people in America who are going to still buy that electability is like a thing you can even come close to determining with any kind of accuracy are going to be Democratic primary voters.
The electability thing is so outrageous that I'm just completely numb to it now.
Yeah, because the other thing is you can't argue against it because, like I said, there is no basis to it. It's all just a gut feeling. It's just like my gut says that the American people are dumber than me, because that's always the assumption of electoral people thinking electorally is, well, I might want X, Y, or Z, but what about the dumbest person I know? What do they want? And so that's dumber than me. They're more cautious than me. They're more reactionary than I am. Because it's a well-known fact that everybody from Democrats to Republicans thinks that the American people are more right-wing than they are, even across the board. And so they think, well, what's something that'll be safe? And it's like, hey, former vice president, the popular presidential administration who doesn't rock the boat. Why not him?
But yeah, like if Biden came out strongly to support Medicare for all, he'd probably be more popular. Like it's like the policy.
Well, I
just
see that.
Kinda,
I don't know about that because
really?
Well, the thing is that it all depends on where does his polling position come from. And if it has nothing to do with issues, if it is just name recognition and this idea of electability, then his policy positions are beside the point.
Or would you agree that it certainly wouldn't hurt him, right?
It wouldn't
same people would support him as they do now.
Presumably, yes. It wouldn't hurt him, but I don't think it would necessarily help him.
Well, we ran the numbers. We'd lose $80,000 an hour in our donations. So that's why I don't do it.
Well, Biden was asked about this the other day, and his answer for why he doesn't support Medicare for all is because it will let employers off the hook for paying for health care.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Nice angle.
Why let them off the hook?
It's very smart. He's
yeah.
like, all right, I got to appear like I'm not just in the pocket of insurance companies and the medical lobby. So what is a populist sounding way I can oppose Medicare for all? Well, don't you love sticking it to your boss by having him pay for a portion of your health care, and which means you're basically a serf to him and you can't leave the job without losing the health care? And also he can switch the health care every year at his whim for a cheaper plan that covers less.
Wasn't that like a thing when they were like during the introduction of the ACA, they're like, oh, we're not punishing employers, and now like the only way they can clutch on to this piece of
like,
shit
we're
is like,
spanking
you fucking hate employers, right?
We're spanking their bottoms till they're bright ruby red.
Yeah, and it does show how old he is, because he couldn't think fast enough. It was just muddled in that clip.
What do you say to calls for some sort of universal health care or something like Medicare for all from some of the other people running in the Democratic primary?
I think they're well intended. I think they mean it, and it's not. I'm not. But here's the deal. Right now, you have this overwhelming number of employers who are paying into the health care plan. Why let them off the hook? All of a sudden, they don't have to pay anything? What happens then to this whole thing about profit and the rest? I mean, it should be part of the compensation if you have it.
Like, that's what he thinks people will rally against. Like, that's what he calls companies or small businesses or any business just employers. Like, I guess that's technically correct, but it sounds like he started writing his answer in German and then translated it through halfway.
And he also said this week that we need to find the middle ground on climate change.
Yeah.
Which is even more terrifying than the employers thing.
The middle ground. Only the middle of the country will be left, finally.
Middle ground. We're not going to lose all of Florida. We'll get rid of Miami and South Florida, Everglades, down there. But we'll still have Tampa.
No, what the fuck is so good about the Everglades? It's just a bunch of alligators and shit.
Look, it's a swamp. It'll be more of a swamp. They can figure it out.
How much better would, Orlando already the happiest place on earth. How much happier if it was on the water? If you had beachfront property right there next to Disney World.
Orlando to Tampa.
I would love to see Florida guys, like, they don't have cars anymore and they're just fighting over, like, who stole their manatee that they ride to work. Yo, Jerry Dunk took my fucking dolphin. I had 3 payments left. Fucking pussy, dude. I'm going to beat your ass.
It's just like Aquaman, but everyone is wearing a wife beater.
Yeah, that's Aquaman. That's the new Aquaman. That's literally just how we make Momoa Aquaman real.
Well, no, yeah, exactly. But he was the only one in the wife beater. I'm saying
That's
everyone.
true. They were all wearing suits.
They were all wearing their dumb underwater man outfits.
What if like Florida
Their
people
capes and
could,
shit.
what if Florida people could just like they could walk underwater and breathe underwater and speak and like no one ever knew and it just sinks and they just create like Atlantis is real but it is Florida. Just like fucking Miami and Tampa and they're like, yeah, we've always been able to do this. We just never wanted to. You have to like get up early. It sucks.
I'm just imagining, I'm almost positive at some point in his life, Trump has wanted to call manatees because they got in the way of a golf course or some marina that he was invested in.
There, yeah. Like, do you think it's like the tact he took with windmills? He's just
Yeah.
mad that they kill like other species of
Yeah.
fish or something.
No, he created a boat that's basically like a underwater lawnmower that just goes over manatees' habitats and just chops them up.
It's powered by killing manatees.
Yeah.
So that's green. That's green energy.
I do gotta say, like the Biden middle ground we do kind of gotta get rid of New York and California. Like honestly, like we've had our time with this experiment and it's really not working out. And this would turn Ohio into the new New York, which give them a shot. They've earned it. How many presidents have come from Ohio? A lot.
With Planet Express and Bender and all those characters.
Yeah. No, look, it's time. It's done. California, dog shit. Seattle, they don't make good planes anymore. Portland, are you honestly going to miss that? New England, nope. Get rid of it. It's crap.
I can't wait till Columbus is the new New York, and then you get to live there and complain about everybody being a SSRI addicted media person.
Well, it's just going to change. Well, no, it's going to be Opana then.
Okay.
The Ohio guys will just become the new media class. Yeah, new by me. New by me. My personal experience seeing the adventures on my couch. This is a first person. There's cat person, but it's just about two friends constantly stealing headphones from each other. Beats person.
The Biden middle ground electability strategy is like interestingly depressing because he could win. I could see it. It's like a coin flip. I could see him.
Yeah.
I could see him barely winning or barely losing to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Because the electability thing could totally backfire because it's not a good strategy as far as marketing is concerned.
Well, that's
but
like
also it could work, and then we're just kind of like children of menning forward.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, maybe it's not we don't all light on fire, but it's just a slow thud.
You just wake up one day and you find out that baby Diego died, and you're like, "Fuck, this sucks. I can't go into work."
Pull my finger.
Yeah, no, Biden will get he'll get impeached within 2 years after like some terror attack or something, and then we'll get Tom Cotton or something in there, and then we won't have to worry about elections anymore. And I say, thank fucking God.
Yeah, I wonder if Biden or any Democrat becomes president, if Republicans will be like, we shouldn't use impeachment as just like a cheap political tool. If it even is somewhat implied that they've, I don't know, ignored a subpoena or obstructed justice or something like that.
Yeah,
they probably won't.
Yeah, Biden is going to get impeached within a month because he like kissed Shinzo Abe on the forehead and embarrassed America.
In the future, impeachment will just be a formal process that is automatically begun as soon as the results are certified.
Just to keep everyone honest.
Yeah.
It's not even going to be Tom Cotton. It'll just like every other year, Donald Trump will be president. And I love that idea. That sounds good to me.
It kind of has to be, doesn't it? Because I try to close my eyes and imagine a Republican presidency that is not Trump. And like, how are they going to get hard for it? How are the Republican voters going to get hard for a regular politician ever again? A guy who speaks in measured tones and uses
After a war, measured tones.
But just like uses euphemisms and stuff, and like doesn't just directly say, we're going to go bing, bang, bang, boom.
Right. Somebody who's like, we represent a future that is shining.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how are you going to get hard for that after fucking Trump?
Yeah, all those Republicans are too pussy to say how they really feel about Anna Wintour, not Trump. But no, I mean, it is true though. Like, Tom Cotton will literally do anything to anybody to get there, but he doesn't He doesn't like sell it as well as
Nobody-
Trump.
but
Has he done a duel yet, Tom Cotton, in the Capitol?
Nobody has ever sold it like Trump has.
He did do a duel, but it was with an Iraqi teenager who wasn't aware it was a duel. He took 10 paces and fired.
It's called a surprise duel. It's a legitimate competition.
The Iraqi, he did have a second, but it was his parents.
I mean, honestly, Tom Cotton, like probably really didn't do anything overseas. He just sort of like stood around. And they made him give him a medal. Him and Mayor Pete had like the same deployment, but Mayor Pete was like, I am not going to petition for a medal. That would be dishonest. And
Yeah, you're right. It won't be Tom.
Tom Cotton did like the coolest way to steal valor, which is the way Lyndon Johnson did, which is just like writing a letter to a general and being like, yeah, actually, this isn't written down anywhere and no one remembers it, but I did some more hero shit. He's like, give me a medal, please.
Wait, what did Lyndon Johnson do?
He lied about his heroics on like
Where was he deployed in World War II?
the
He
Pacific.
wasn't. Well, he wasn't. He didn't join the military. He didn't leave. He stayed in Congress, unlike Nixon or anything like that.
He tried to kill JFK in the Pacific. He tried to attack the PT boat. That was also Lyndon Johnson.
Yeah, he was on a special mission for the OSS. I'm gonna look this up.
No,
because
he went to the Pacific on like a inspection tour, and he got a seat on a reconnaissance flight, and he just sat in shotgun on a reconnaissance flight. But then afterwards, he petitioned for a medal on the grounds that they took fire and that he heroically,
Sat there.
Yeah, that he heroically sat there. Well, which was all made up, but he did get it. He got the
no, yeah, and that's like
got the medal.
That's the cool way to do it.
That is the cool.
And Mayor Pete, not courageous enough to do it. Not courageous enough to lie.
Can I say that everyone knows Mayor Pete isn't really running for. There's
No, of course
25
not.
candidates. I'm curious how many of them are really running for president, because the vast majority of them are running for vice president or less.
Yeah.
Some of them are just running for a book, like New York Times.
Bill de Blasio? What is he running? Like he's running to be like assistant undersecretary for education.
He's running for president to get reelected as mayor of New York.
Well, the thing is, he can't because because he's term limited now, and they got rid of the exemption for Bloomberg. So
If he runs for president, maybe there'll be momentum to reverse it.
yeah, I guess.
People love him here.
From everything I've read about de Blasio, he actually is the only one in America who thinks he's running for president, because everyone in his life has sat him down and said, "You are an insane person. Do not do this," and they did it anyway. And so I think he really thinks he's going to win. Everyone else, though, I'd say 20 out of these candidates now are book deal, some post in the administration, be a TV talking head, something like that.
Beto thinks he can win, but would also be happy being vice president. But I don't think he'll get either one.
Beto is just like, it's basically like study abroad for him.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I don't even think Beto cares about winning anything. I just think he likes being in a room with people who like him.
Yeah, it's just sexy to be with like the Des Moines Democratic Moms Club or whatever.
He just gets the energy. He feels the energy. He's a punk rocker. He
Mayor
feels the
Pete,
energy of the crowd.
It's just like we just like gotta like us. It's like we are the ones that can just like just plurally like we.
He's so Gen X because it's already just completely fizzling out. He probably won't make it till next year, but after he's gonna be like, that was an awesome experience. I learned so much. Gen Xers love completely just eating shit at something and being like, thank you for an awesome time.
Yeah.
Thank you for teaching me about myself.
You don't need to vote for Beto O'Rourke under any circumstances. Just go see Collective Soul. They're on the road now this summer. Go see them, and that should scratch that itch for you.
Yeah, go to a county fair.
I don't know, like
you can see them both maybe if you go to the right time. He's eating a corn dog and they're playing
John Hickenlooper isn't even running for. He's running for like Emperor of the Underworld or something. Like this is just a stepping stone thing to get his.
No, Hickenlooper is running to be the fucking captain of the fucking oil tanker from Waterworld. It's astounding that more third and fourth party people haven't announced, because Trump should really have given the green light to everybody to try, which makes me amazed that why hasn't Jesse Ventura run?
I think
because seriously, he's like the model for Trump before anyone, before Schwarzenegger or anything.
I'm taking my time. I've become a common law citizen of Mexico because I've spent more than 6 months a year down here. So I've got to get the paperwork in order. I've got a League of Nations passport. I can't get it renewed unless I go to the Canary Islands. Look, I might run for president and you wouldn't even know about it. It'll be a camouflage campaign.
Oh man, we got to start Ventura Pack right now.
Seriously, well, why not him? He was a problem solver before any of this.
Look, I disagree with the left on a few minor issues that I get really bellicose about. But ultimately, what you get out of it is a light rail train between St. Paul and Minneapolis.
Yeah, Ventura only man to defeat Chris Kyle in
Yes.
court of law. He used to be in the Reform Party with Donald Trump.
That's true.
You know, what if only people who are in the Reform Party win from now on?
Pat Buchanan?
It's Pat Buchanan after Jesse Ventura.
Ross Perot's still alive.
Cynthia McKinney, right?
I think so.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Ross Perot is still alive?
I believe so.
Yeah, he is.
Really?
He is, 100%.
Ross Perot is still alive. I play online chess with him. He plays by the book. He plays a very good, predictable opening moves, middle game, end game.
Think about, like, the Ventura White House would be so fucking cool. There'd be all this weird shit all over. There'd be like a Mahjong thing on the Resolute desk.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what kind of weird shit he's into. It's probably fucking sick.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what we're going to put turnbuckles up on all four corners of the White House lawn. It'll be a giant ring where it's going to be a Royal Rumble.
It would, dude, imagine the president is still going to court with Chris Kyle's widow. So sick.
I'm serving papers and or being served almost every moment of the day.
Do you remember the part? You guys watched Jesse Ventura Conspiracy?
Yeah, we've
Theory,
talked about this with James. This is one of our first episode with James. We talked about that.
Remember when he went to LaGuardia and he's like, "Let me see the 9/11 stuff," and they're like, "No," and he's like, "I was governor." They have to let him see it now. That's what he should run on.
He should run on, get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I'm running for president of 9/11.
He should
run 20 years when I take office. Trust me, you want me to pull the doors open.
He's still doing. He brings back conspiracy theory as president. He goes to LaGuardia again. He's like, "I'm the president." And they're like, "No."
He goes
no, what the fuck, dude?
He goes to Area 51, knocks right on the front door.
I looked up the address area. It was somewhere between Area 50 and Area 53.
Didn't Trump promise that he would let people know about UFOs and the Kennedy assassination, or did I just imagine that?
He dangled something about declassifying JFK documents, which they did, but they were going to do it anyway, and he just took credit for it.
But hilariously, they kicked it down the road a little bit.
Yeah, well, they released some, and then they kept some more.
Apparently, the CIA gets to go, we need 6 more months.
Yeah,
whenever they feel
it's like with Disney and the fucking the copyright for Mickey Mouse. They just get to keep pushing it down the road forever.
Matt, you'll remember this. What is the date that Kevin Costner, aka Jim Garrison, says at the end of JFK? He's like, "I'm hoping my son eats his vegetables and stays strong."
I think it's in the 30s.
2030 or something like that?
30s, yes.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Yeah. All right, crossing off my suicide in 2023 off the calendar.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, this is a perfect time for Jesse to hop in the race because I think like a couple weeks
First
ago.
of all, I'm not going to hop anymore.
But
it'll be a jaunt. It'll be a high jump.
But like a couple weeks ago, wasn't there like an actual news story about how Navy pilots have like gotten the government to start looking into UFOs because they just keep fucking seeing them?
No, there's been a steady stream of very shock stories that in any other era would be much more resonant.
I know,
in the 90s, people would have been shitting their pants if the stuff that's been released just in the past couple of years.
At the height of the X-Files, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like Navy pilots are like, no, literally, like we keep seeing UFOs that like.
And the New York Times has this video, these cockfight videos of these little
cockfight videos.
Cockfight videos, yeah, they're fighting cocks.
The Sulzbergers have a cockfighting ring.
That's why the F-35 keeps crashing because they keep fucking cockfighting.
Cockfighting is not problematic if you give them little gloves, and if you can teach them to play little avian characters and stick to their kayfabe.
Imagine, okay, so Halo, like the events of Halo take place, like there is a covenant, but the presidents we have during it are Donald Trump and Joe Biden. That's so fucked. They're in charge of the Master Chief of the
Spartan
program. They're negotiating with the Covenant. Like Donald Trump is going to talk to the Prophet of Mercy. He may actually get it done. May prevent the UNSC Covenant War.
If I get in there, it's going to be first-person shooter immediately. The
Right.
President of the United States versus all.
No, Biden is the only dove on the Covenant because his son has a deal in High Charity, in the Covenant Holy City of High Charity, building the feeding tube system for the grunts.
There are so many candidates running for president that should not be running. The news comes out every 2 weeks where you're like, why the fuck? Somebody's just like, you can't even name an office now without it being like there already is one. I'm the city councilman in Phoenix, Arizona. And then it's almost like a zombie movie where you think these characters are like, these are sane people. These aren't running for president. And then they get like bit and they're like, I'm running for president now.
And a ton of them are people who could be in competitive Senate races against Republicans. And instead, that reduces the likelihood that those seats are going to flip, which means that this all is completely fucking academic because the Senate will just prevent any Democratic president from accomplishing anything.
Real quick though, before we move on, I do want to touch on more of the Jesse Ventura like X-Files shit because Navy pilots keep seeing fucking UFOs. Again, in the 90s, this would have been a bigger story.
Yeah.
Also, there's that like cigar-shaped interstellar object that like
Yes.
conforms to like no known, like I think it shows element. And then there's another thing, I swear to God, where there's another interstellar object like in our solar.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. An interstellar object in our solar system that just like was recorded just changing directions.
Yes.
Gumma. The Pink Floyd album.
Yeah, no, that's a different one, but yeah, that too. It wasn't it looked like it could have been in orbit, and then just went burp, and all
Whoa, when was this?
Recently.
But it's not the same as Gumma?
I don't think
I gotta
so.
see what I remember how to pronounce it.
And then there's the cockpit videos of these objects that they're following that just zip off the screen, completely off of whatever trajectory they were on. And then they came out that Harry Reid had funneled millions of dollars to investigate this paranormal shit going on at this ranch in Utah, the Skinwalker Ranch, that has been like a place where for the whole 90s, they were seeing a ton of insane UFO activity.
And the classic Jesse Ventura line from the X-Files, even your own President Jimmy Carter.
Even your own president saw it. Why do you think he was shocked into a malaise? If the malaise was a mayonnaise that was coated over this country from another planet.
Yeah, UFOs again. Like it sucks because they're coming back in a major way, but no one gives a shit. Because like UFO obsession and conspiracy theories, that was like such a '90s phenomenon of this kind of post-Cold War. Like we needed something to communicate the kind of like weird feeling that existed in America
And the anxiety of frontiers closing in.
Yeah.
And like
Oumuamua. That was good. And it was the Rendezvous with Rama spaceship from Arthur C. Clarke, where it came through our solar system and then sped up as it left the sun. And it was not a comet. It was from another part of it was not from any known place in the sky.
You want to know the reason this isn't a bigger story? I can't worry about an unidentified flying object when I'm worried about an unqualified freaking orange. This is the Resistance cast.
Are you the unqualified orange? Wow, that's really piercing satire, Resistance.
Guys, one retweet equals $1 for Pete Buttigieg. Let's go.
Okay, so speaking of someone who I don't think she's ever written a column about UFOs, but she definitely probably believes in them.
She has communicated with
and
them.
angels.
How can you not at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, both.
I was talking about Matt before this. I don't know if we've ever done her for a reading series.
We have.
Peggy Noonan?
Yeah, we did her like in the first 100 episodes.
Oh, okay. So this is a way callback. Peggy Noonan is a reading series I have for you guys today. Peggy, she was like the proto Meghan McArdle. So paying tribute to the original.
Just an infuriating toffee head.
Pudding head, yeah. This is her column in the Wall Street Journal, The Missing Order in American Politics. Subhead, I grow wistful as I watch congressional chaos while reading Kissinger's forthcoming oral history. That's just a book about all the women he's pleasured.
You put two fingers in and above the G spot and create triple-digit orgasms. No shit, Harry Paul.
My neck fold, my back crack. Lick my intervention and my back.
Have you ever seen a German boy dance like this, Lou Holtz?
So this is Peggy Noonan writing in the Wall Street Journal. I am watching Washington and thinking this. We have reached a new crisis point in Donald Trump versus the Democrats. They are speaking of contempt citations, subpoenas, executive privilege, hearings. It's a daily barrage. The Democrats are inching closer to impeachment, at least rhetorically, perhaps actually. We'll see how Speaker Nancy Pelosi can dance right up to the edge to appease some in her caucus and not over it. But there is such a thing as context, as the Democrats seem to be ignoring. This is a country divided.
I want to raise one objection. The Daily Barrage is my incredibly shitty online satire magazine that has articles you can read, such as Fox News issues correction for telling the truth. So that's strike one.
Daily Barrage. It sounds violent, or at least rough.
Well, it's a barrage of laughs. It would also make you think.
Laugh barrage. Oh, that makes you think?
Yeah. There's really good
Because so much stuff, because so many people, on the left are afraid of thought.
Yeah, no, we have really good shit in there. Like, there's an article about a congressman getting impeached for passing a damn bill for once. Daily Barrage is fucking good ass shit. We have $100 billion in angel investment from China.
So Peggy says the context that Democrats are ignoring is that the country's divided, unlike at previous points in American history. So she says, here's the sleight of hand. She goes, almost half the country is for Mr. Trump, truly, madly, deeply.
That's not true.
That's not true at all.
It's literally not true.
It's like
fucking guy.
At most 30% of the country.
Well, they all do that though. They always take polls of voters and say this is the entire population every time.
Right.
Because they're the only ones who matter.
All polls should take into account the 120 million people who no longer believe in the process.
Yeah.
Or they should be like, if an election, like if more people in America don't vote than vote in a presidential election, like there should be no president for 4 years.
Some countries have that. You have to have 50%. You have to have some minimum quorum of participation in order for the results to count.
That would be actually useful if there was just 4 years.
If there was some sort of incentive
with no
to
executive
have a vote,
branch, exactly, and then
as opposed to now where there's nothing but disincentives on purpose, so that they could keep just on autopilot with this tiny, hyper partisan group of angry middle class old people.
So it is a absolute rump minority of this country that is, in Peggy Noonan's words, truly madly deeply in love with Donald Trump. And then she also says half is against him, unequivocally, unchangeably. There is no resolving this. Or rather, to the extent it can be resolved, it will be resolved at the ballot box. The presidential election is 18 months from now on November 3rd, 2020. I'd like to think that that's not actually the election date, and she's trying to suppress Democratic voter turnout. But this is the pages of the Wall Street Journal. So, thanks for reminding us on election day, is Peggy. She says, until then, people are where they are and hold the views they hold, and don't push them too hard. Again, who are you talking to?
Don't
here?
push me.
Who are you?
I'm close to the edge.
That sounds like something that could be a warning for a ride at Disneyland. People are people. Don't push anyone too hard. Keep your hands inside the ride.
Peggy Noonan, she's at a turnstile show in the pit. It's like I like to have a good time, but don't fucking push me. I'm the queen of this pit.
Democrats unveil charges and accusations. The president is a liar. He's a tax dodger, an obstructor of justice. But in a way, Mr. Trump's supporters accounted for all this before they elected him. They are not shocked. They didn't hire him to be a good man. Their politics are post-heroic. They sometimes tell reporters he's a man of high character, but mostly to drive the reporters crazy. I think actually, Peggy is actually right. She's actually not wrong
that's
about
all correct,
that. I
think that's all correct.
I think there's a certain element of trolling the media when they try to ask these sort of
they don't give a shit about any of these things.
How could a Christian vote for a man who's
because politics have been set up and the media had been monitoring and trying to explain politics along the lines of, well, these voters, these conservative voters, have XYZ values that they hold very deeply. And now they're finding out, yeah, no, we were full of shit the whole time, and they just can't process it.
And he says,
you believe that shit, you fucking dumbass?
Well, she says, on the other hand, they sincerely believe he has high political character in that he pursues the issues he campaigned on. Again, that's true to the extent that he is filling the judiciary with the Mothman prophecy. Just all Mothmen in the federal judiciary, and made the tax cut. But like, he campaigned on a ton of shit that he's immediately forgotten about.
Well, yeah, and he has, but the thing is that they don't really care about any of that stuff.
No.
They care about the stuff that he has been talking about, which is immigration and owning libs and shit like that.
So he goes, supporters give him high marks for not looking down on them, as they believe most members of the media who are always trying to understand them do. Which, again, I think that's true, but like, nobody looks down on his voters more than Donald Trump himself,
but
personally.
they love being spit on. They're little piglets. They love it. They love that he has contempt for them because they think they deserve it from him. What they don't like about these media elites looking down on them is they think you don't deserve to look down on me, you fucking needle nose. Trump, on the other hand, wide dick Donald, he absolutely should be looking down upon all of us on his golden fucking throne and pissing into our mouths.
I can make you laugh. I can make you laugh as I really put you down.
Yeah, he's like Don Rickles. They love it.
Well, there he says,
if he personally insulted every person in the front row at a Trump rally, they would all love it.
I would love
He should do a Rickles show.
He should do a Rickles show.
Sit down.
He should do a Wally George show.
Yeah, just go to town on him. They love it.
their attitude is, don't try to understand me like you're the anthropologist and we're the savages. I'm an American. What are you? They factor the cultural animosity in. When they jeer the press...
Is that a real quote or she made that up as an example quote?
I think
it's an
a
example.
made-up quote,
yeah, it's like she's ventriloquizing their point of view.
Which is, of course, rich coming from her.
Yeah.
I mean.
When they jeer the press during rallies at the president's direction, they don't really mean it.
Okay.
And when they post Facebook screeds that is just copy and pasted from the Day of the Rope from the Turner Diaries,
Yeah.
they're trolling. They
Yeah.
don't really mean it.
They're just having fun.
Well, as Peggy's next sentence is, they're having fun and talking back. It's like, James, like at a comedy club when people talk back to the comedian that they're having fun. They're getting in on the act.
Yeah. It's heckling. That's part of the process.
They're having fun. They'd be happy if their kids became reporters, an affluent profession, and half of them are famous. I dispute that. I don't think they want their kids to become Jim Acosta or Anderson Cooper.
I mean, if the alternative is like Carney, then maybe yes.
Carney makes
like basement gamer. I mean, I'd probably have them be Jim Acosta than that.
I don't know. I mean, like after the water wars, you'd much rather be a Carney than Jim Acosta. Carneys at least have talents.
The president doesn't really hate the press either. He wants their love and admiration. You don't need the admiration of people you truly disdain. Trump supporters are now looking around and thinking, things are looking up. The economy is gangbusters. Everyone can get a job. Good people are on the courts.
I always, when she writes things, or if I see her on TV, it always sounds to me like Peggy Noonan is at her vacation home, looking out over like a long expanse where there's water at the edge of it, and from that vantage point is talking about the country.
Yeah, I mean, how many of these? It's not just Noonan, but like really most of them are just like them imagining what people would say.
Yeah, well,
This is such dog shit,
that's
man.
the entireness of being
Just
a columnist. Is
fucking-
just making up a point of view and ascribing it to millions of people.
Just fucking get rid of opinion columns.
Which is what
honestly.
we do too. So
Put it
no, no.
like rerun like an old comic strip from the 50s where there are no jokes and it's just about like a guy doing his job, like Jim Thorpe or something. Like, fuck this shit. This shit fucking sucks.
It is the
Who
most
fucking
useless
likes
sort of
this?
thing because even if it's true or not, how are you ever gonna fucking know? There's no way to test any of this shit. Like she's just fucking riffing.
Matt, everyone can get a job now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she is saying that like these people are saying it, but also like who gives a shit? The only people that should have opinion columns are like interesting freaks. It should be like Bob Avakian, David Dees, Martin Noakes,
Steven Seagal.
Like it should just all be people who are completely insane. Like Soulja Boy should be an opinion columnist, and she should write articles that are like, yeah, Drake, Rihanna, they all rip me off. Like it's more valuable than this fucking dog shit. It's like she's just like the most well-known one, but everyone does it. The fucking food guy from the New York Times, Bruni, Thomas Friedman, Paul Krugman for that. Like literally, this is all this fucking genre of writing is. It's fucking pointless. it's just.
I mean,
dog
it's
shit.
pointless in a lot of ways. Not only is there no real informational value to it because it's just one person's gut feeling from their fucking mansion, but also no one fucking reads it anyway, except for this small group of people, just mostly like us, to get mad at it.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Like, we're the rubes. We're the ones who are like, "Oh, fuck you, Undertaker." This is as stupid as pro wrestling. But no one, like, Peggy Noonan.
As stupid as pro wrestling.
I'm sorry, sir.
You think it's stupid to go up against a major combat force like Yokozuna with the power of sumo wrestling behind them, the training.
What if like Brett Stevens just killed his family with a Bowflex? people were like, "What the fuck?" And then it turns out like all these columnists are just like doing HGH and steroids. And they just still look like shit, but like they're just all on Anavar cycles, and they're like, "Why?" It's just exactly like pro wrestling.
Well, if the country enters the kayfabe of my world, which is what will happen when I'm elected president, you'll start seeing that.
That's like, that was the only way the opinion comes to get better. If you just, they're like, yeah, you can make like $250,000 a year, but you have to just abuse steroids constantly, and you have to take bumps. You have to go when you go on Real Time. You have to get hit with a chair.
It's like you will not live to see 60. That is a deal that you're making by being a columnist.
This is just the last thing I want to read from the Peggy Noonan piece. This is the analogy she reaches for to talk about politically divided America. We are like Chang and Ang, the 19th century Siamese twin brothers who worked for P.T. Barnum. They could not be separated. Yeah.
Can I say, this is another thing, a pause, another thing I hate about opinion columnists. Whatever goddamn coffee book they're reading that month ends up in their column.
Yeah.
As we all know from the P.T. Barnum book that I've been reading.
We are, America is like that elephant that Thomas Edison electrocuted.
R.I.P. Topsy.
Truly, we are Tesla.
The smoke is coming out of all of our giant ears.
Is not direct current still dominating our politics to this day?
He goes, they could not be separated and went through their long lives together, married to different women, living in different houses. And
The
then she
women
says,
were also twins, by the way.
a few days a week in this one, a few in the other. It wasn't easy for them to walk through life together, but they did. We have to, too. And then she just goes, now I wish to switch subjects, don't you? And she spends the rest of the top column talking about Henry Kissinger and his new book, Kissinger on Kissinger. I swear to God, I didn't make that up.
I would love.
I'm going to switch subjects?
Yeah.
That's unacceptable.
It's like, what, 500 words?
Yeah.
You should be able to have one subject.
I think she should have carried out the circus freak analogy a little longer.
Yeah. Kissinger
on
sucked his own dick.
Yeah, he fucks his own looper. Awesome.
Kissinger on Kissinger. Yes, I was able to get down low enough that I could lick my own Metternich.
Metternich, very good.
Remember the story Jacob Bacharach told us? The person he fucked in a hot air balloon dressed as a lobster was him.
Lobster, yeah.
A younger version of him from the end. Was the Backtimers?
Backtimers.
Yeah.
Backtimers. The Kissinger ultimatum.
There's of course there's all kinds of sequels and prequels.
Yeah. The sequel comes out first.
Gads and grads, sequels and prequels.
She says America is like Chang and Ang. I think America is more like Beverly and Elliot Mantel, the twins from the film Dead Ringers. Sorry, little deep cut. That one's for me and me only.
I think they're more like the Collier brothers.
Yes.
Just a couple of maniacs in a mansion, eventually going to get crushed to death by a pile of newspaper.
Well, there was a fire that got them, and that fire, global warming.
Boom.
The clutter, carbon in our atmosphere.
Boom. Got it.
Mic drop.
The Collier brothers got pussy.
Who's the bluegrass band brothers? The Coldplay with banjos, as Kyle Kinane put it. What's that band called?
Oh,
Mumford and
Mumford and Sons. Mumford and
We're
Sons.
Mumford and Sons.
Our body politic clearly is closer to Mumford and
In all
Sons
seriousness,
than it is to the Allman
I
Brothers.
really think the most accurate thing is that we are Ray Milland and Rosie Greer from The Thing with Two Heads. That's who we are.
Well, before we get out of here, James.
Uh-oh.
We're hoping. Could we
Am I in
maybe,
trouble?
Yeah. Could we maybe pitch some impressions that year?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Do you have any new characters, new figures you're working on? Give us a little.
I'm ramping down.
You're ramped down. Okay.
I'm as you would say in the finance industry, I'm unwinding some of these positions.
He had a long position on Paul Giamatti.
Well,
never go long on Paul Giamatti.
Never.
Short. Yeah, I had an IPO recently.
Don't make fun of his height. Okay,
It was an initial Paul offering, and I said we're going to take it public. I did the reverse Elon Musk. I said we're going to take it public, $10 shares, and now I'm severely buying everything back.
I have an idea for a character for you.
What's that?
All right, so his name's Monkey W. Bush. He's an ape who loves oil and bananas. Bush is coming back, dude. You should, yeah.
I did some movies where I was on Ronald Reagan's lap. Hopping around, swinging from windows. Uh-oh. Boom. Million dead. You can, if you play a music box, I have little cymbals, and I run around and I bang the cymbals on civilians.
It's an enhanced interrogation technique.
But since there's, short people, Shapiro, Giamatti, as a little throwback, could you do Paul Giamatti, who believes everything Ben Shapiro does? And
I think that the problem is that we are not adhering to traditional sex roles. I voluntarily committed myself to celibacy, and then afterwards involuntarily have been committed to celibacy. I've been pissed on within the confines of matrimony. Billions is a documentary.
Yeah, Giamatti's character on Billions is a piss
He
pig,
loves
right?
the pissed on.
I've never watched Billions.
That was in his contract.
That was part of the rider that my Dom forced on me. My Dom is my agent, so those are the parts that I get.
I think we should wrap it up, but James.
Oh, I'm getting the light, huh?
Yeah. No, we're reaching the end here, but James, you have anything to plug?
I have a couple of things to plug if I can.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
I have a new podcast.
Oh, now you're not. What was once our friend now becomes our enemy.
Yes,
You're not
the first
leaving
order
here
of
alive.
business.
We must meet on the field of podcasting battle.
Is it like a video game Battlesphere, like in the Three Body Problem?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
you read that book? That's
yes.
a great book.
Oh,
Did you read
yes.
any of the sequels?
Yes,
I haven't read the whole trilogy yet, but I really like the
they're
first book.
mind blowing.
I really like that book.
Do you like having your mind blown?
I absolutely do.
I don't mind having my mind blown, but look, you've got to cradle the mind ball.
I have a new podcast that's called The Underculture, and I basically do that.
Okay.
The Underculture is a world of impressions and sketches and some karaoke songs. And it's on the Forever Dog Network and everywhere else that podcasts happen. And it's also on Patreon. I took a page from your guys' your path to success.
Well, that's great. We can't wait to destroy you.
We invented Patreon. We're the first people ever on there. We have no choice but to take this as a personal insult.
I immediately started attracting fire, right? If you walk up to another castle in Age of Empires and they just automatically start shooting at you. Also, Trump versus Bernie is coming back.
Ooh.
We're doing the first redo. It's like the Apocalypse Now redo. Trump versus
Final
Bernie. The director's disaster. Trump versus Bernie at the Creek in the Cave. Saturday, May 18th will be the first of our return version of Trump versus Bernie. Me and Anthony Atamanik.
But this time there'll be like a 40-minute digression where you go to some like French colonial house in the jungle and smoke opium with the guy's daughter.
Thank you. There'll be a whole lot more metaphor worked into a very metaphor-heavy script
Thank you for the Apocalypse Now. Yes, and that's in New York. That's in Long Island City this Saturday, and then we're gonna do it in July in Los Angeles and at San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh hell yeah!
Yep, Trump versus Bernie happening, and Underculture happening.
All right, links to Trump versus Bernie and the Underculture in the show description. You already know the drill, guys.
Whoa.
Once again, thank you very much to our good friend James Adomian for stopping by the house in person.
Thank you.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.